Okay, so now we are going to be rolling out our pie crust that I made yesterday. And you want to try and roll it out in the best circle shape that you can. Sometimes when it comes to rolling out crust, it's hard to make it perfect. I am using my Tupperware mat, which I really enjoy using with making crusts, pie crust, because it does not stick to the mat and it's less messy than having to do it on your counter and having flour all over your counter. So you want to roll it in the biggest circle shape possible. Because it is always a good idea to have, or I always like having extra I cut off just so I know I made it big enough. It's actually easier to make. The edges look nicer when there's more kind of some hanging over, because then you know that it's not the crust isn't too short. Sometimes when you put the filling in, and then you can't see your crust anymore. Oops, that's not always a good thing, because you want your filling to be below your crust. That part just likes to stick. Okay, so I think this is the best shape that I'm going to get out of here. I'm just going to put this over here and make sure that it's going to be pretty okay. So I'm going to try and pick her up now, and hopefully it doesn't break on me. Okay, so I just want to press it in there with your fingers. If it does kind of get short, you can always grab some that's fallen off and kind of push it in there. Okay, so this is what our pumpkin looks like now that I boiled it until it got really mushy, and then I used a potato masher just to mash it and to take some of the water out, because there is absolutely a lot of water in pumpkin. And as you can see here, this is how much water has come out of it already, which is a lot. And now we are ready to put it in the filling. So let's go over here and let's make the pumpkin filling. Okay, so I use this recipe. One of my favorites is called streusel topped pumpkin pie. It is absolutely amazing. And this is from the Squash Cookbook from Company's Coming. And so this is what we're going to do today. And so I'm adding 1 cup of brown sugar, and 3/4 of a teaspoon. I don't really measure that, I just kind of go with it, with some salt, some some nutmeg. That's about half a teaspoon. And again, I don't always measure it. I just kind of do a pinch or so, a little over a pinch. And some ginger. You don't want to put too much ginger in. This is about half a teaspoon as well of ginger. And then we're going to leave that there. To do our pumpkin pie filling. And I just want to also mention that the recipe that book I got this from is the Company Cummings Squash Cookbook, which has really amazing recipes in it. And the one I'm doing is called a streusel topped pumpkin pie. And so let's put all the ingredients in now. I did 1 cup of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger. So we're just going to pour this into the mixing bowl, along with 1 cup and 3/4 of the pumpkin that we made yesterday. I'm just going to pour that in there. Along with 2 eggs. And also a can of evaporated milk. And we are going to mix this up in our mixer. Pour it in as we are mixing it. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to stop doing that right now. And just kind of mix it with my hands with this mixer. So this is what the filling looks like. You want to make sure it's all mixed together really good. And if you want, instead of using a mixer, you can always use a whisk. So now it is ready to be poured into the pie crust that we have prepared. You're just going to go ahead and just pour the whole thing in there. And when I was talking about earlier about having the pie crust pretty high above the pie there, filling, so even when it does cook, you can still see the crust. Okay, and now we are going to, now we are making the streusel topping to go on top of the pie. I measured out a 1/3 cup of flour and 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I also melted 3 tablespoons of butter. And so we're just gonna mix this all together in a bowl. I'm actually just gonna use a fork, because I think that's a bad idea. I'm just gonna mix it all together. Oh, and also 1/3 cup of honey-made graham cracker crumbs as well. Mix it all together here, and we're actually going to add a little bit more of the graham cracker crumbs because sometimes it comes out a little bit moist. We want it more crummy, so you can just add more graham cracker crumbs to the kind of the texture you want it to be. So this is what this looks like now. all mixed together. Okay, so now what you want to do is just sprinkle it on top of the pumpkin. Just using your hands. Add a little bit more. So now you just want to go sprinkling it on top of the pie. And I should tilt my camera more so you can see. So I'm just sprinkling it on top like this. And you want to use all of it so the pies can, so you can't see the filling anymore. So if you've never had a streusel top pumpkin pie, you are in for a treat because it is absolutely delicious. That was my oven. I preheated my oven to 425. So the oven is now ready for the pie to go in. Okay, so there you go. So now we are done, and that is what the pie looks like right now with the streusel topping on. And now we are going to put it in the oven for, oops, my camera fell. That's not good. We're gonna put it in the oven for about, how long now? No, for about 10 minutes. And then we are gonna reduce the heat to 350. So you wanna start out your heat at 425 for 15 minutes and then reduce it to 350 for 45 minutes. Okay, so my timer has gone off, 5 minutes is up. So now what we are going to do is we are going to reduce the heat to 350. And then we're gonna put the timer back on for 45 minutes. Okay, so here is the pie and it is finished and ready to eat.